The room spun, a kaleidoscope of laughter and clinking glasses, but all I could see was her hand resting on his knee. My wife, Elise, sat across the crowded living room, her laughter bright as summer, her body angled toward her best friend, Marcus, in a way that made my chest tighten. The party pulsed around us, friends spilling onto the patio, music humming through the walls of our cozy suburban home. But that single gesture, her fingers grazing his jeans, felt like a blade slicing through the noise. I stood frozen by the kitchen counter, a half-empty beer sweating in my hand, my mind screaming one question. When did this start feeling wrong? We'd been married 3 years, together for 7. Elise always called Marcus her brother from another mother, a phrase I'd laughed at early on. He'd been there through her college heartbreaks, her parents' divorce, her late-night calls when anxiety clawed at her. I liked him, his easy grin, his knack for diffusing tension with a bad pun. But tonight, under the dim glow of string lights, something felt off. Her head tilted too close when she whispered to him. His eyes lingered too long on her smile. I shook it off, chalking it up to the wine, the late hour, the haze of a long week. She's just comfortable, I told myself. That's all. The party was our idea, a housewarming for the place we'd scraped and saved for. The living room smelled of fresh paint and lavender candles, the hardwood gleaming under the feet of our guests. Elise had spent weeks planning, her excitement infectious as she hung fairy lights and curated playlists. It's our new chapter, Nate, she'd said, kissing me softly in the empty house days before. I'd believed her. I always did. Now, as I watched her lean into Marcus, her laugh cutting through the chatter, doubt crept in like damp rot. I remembered smaller moments. Her phone buzzing at odd hours, her quick smile when I asked who it was. Just Marcus being Marcus, she'd say, and I'd nod, trusting her. Trust was our foundation, wasn't it? But foundations crack. I crossed the room, weaving through clusters of friends, my heart thudding. Hey, you too, I said, forcing a grin. Elise's eyes flicked up, bright but guarded, like a deer catching a scent. Marcus leaned back, his posture casual, but his fingers tapped the armrest. A nervous tick I'd never noticed before. Having fun, babe? Elise asked, her voice warm but laced with something I couldn't name. She reached for my hand, her touch familiar yet distant, like a memory I couldn't fully grasp. Yeah, I lied, my gaze darting to Marcus. You guys seem cozy. Marcus chuckled, too quick. Just catching up. Been a while, you know? I nodded, but my stomach churned. The party swirled on, oblivious to the fault line forming beneath my feet. I excused myself, mumbling about needing air, and slipped onto the patio. The night was cool, the sky a deep indigo, stars muted by city lights. I gripped the railing, my mind replaying every glance, every laugh. Was I paranoid? Or was the truth staring me in the face, waiting for me to blink? Inside, Elise's laughter rang out again, and I felt it like a punch. I loved her, God, I loved her. Her messy morning hair, her habit of humming off-key while cooking, the way she'd curl into me during thunderstorms. But love doesn't blind you. It just makes you forgive the shadows. I went back inside, determined to shake the feeling. The night wore on, guests thinning out, leaving a trail of empty bottles and half-eaten appetizers. Elise was in the kitchen now, rinsing glasses, her movements brisk. Marcus lingered nearby, drying dishes with a practiced ease that made my skin crawl. They worked in sync, like they'd done this 100 times in a life I wasn't part of. Need help? I asked, my voice tighter than I meant. Elise glanced over, her smile faltering. We've got it, Nate. Why don't you relax? Her words were kind, but they stung. I stood there, an outsider in my own home, watching them move together like a well-rehearsed dance. Then Marcus's phone buzzed on the counter. He glanced at it, then at Elise, a silent exchange that lasted a heartbeat too long. I'll get that, I said, reaching for it before he could. The screen lit up with a notification, a text from Elise. My thumb hovered, my pulse roaring in my ears. I shouldn't have looked. I knew it. But I did. Miss you already. Tomorrow. The words burned into me, each letter a shard of glass. I looked up, meeting Elise's eyes. Her face drained of color, her lips parting as if to speak, but no sound came. Marcus froze, the dish towel limp in his hands. Nate. Elise started, her voice trembling. Tomorrow. I repeated, my voice low, dangerous. What's tomorrow, Elise? She stepped toward me, her hands outstretched. It's not what you think. I swear it's. Don't. I cut her off, the beer bottle in my hand shaking. Don't lie to me. Not now. The kitchen felt too small, the air too thick. Marcus cleared his throat, his voice unsteady. Nate, man, let's talk about this. Talk. I laughed, a bitter, broken sound. About how you're sneaking around with my wife. How you're her brother. The word dripped with venom, and Elise flinched. Nate, please, she whispered, tears welling. I didn't mean for this to happen. It just did. It just did. For words that shattered everything. I saw our life together. Our vows, our late-night talks, our plans for kids, crumbling like ash. I wanted to scream, to demand why. But the truth was already there, raw and ugly. She loved him. Maybe not more than me, maybe not instead of me. But enough to break us. I set the bottle down, my hands trembling. How long? Her silence was answer enough. Marcus looked away, guilt etched into his face. The room spun again, but this time, it wasn't the party. It was my world unraveling. I'm sorry, Elise choked out, stepping closer. I backed away, my heart a bruised thing in my chest. Don't touch me, I said, my voice barely a whisper. I turned, walking out of the kitchen, past the fairy lights, past the life we'd built. The front door clicked shut behind me, the night swallowing me whole. I didn't know where I was going. The street was quiet, the stars indifferent. But as I walked, her text burned in my mind. Miss you already. And then, like a knife twisting, I remembered her voice at our wedding, promising forever. The betrayal wasn't just Marcus. It was her, choosing to let me believe the lie. I stopped under a street lamp, my breath ragged. In my pocket, my phone buzzed. A message from Elise. I didn't read it. Instead, I pulled off my wedding ring, the metal cold against my skin. I held it up, the gold catching the light, and then I let it fall. It hit the pavement with a soft clink, rolling into the dark. I didn't chase it. The shadow had won.